Hi guys, this is John. Welcome to the Stock Market Series podcast. And guys, this is probably one of I remember I was looking at just some stuff recently, and there was this funny little joke about how Goldman was always screwing their clients. And there's this video I think Saturday Night Live or someone made. Long time ago, in 2002 or something like that, and it was this interview with this banker, and it was everything. And if I can't drop the microphone, I could tell you about it. And I remember in this interview, basically it was this banker telling all of the clients that Goldman had sold all of their stocks at the peak in '99, and they were shorting everything, and the only reason that they were telling people to buy stocks was so that they had somebody to sell it to. And then this was in a little bit after sort of the harsh events in 9/11, and the parody was that Goldman had been selling all their stocks, and then they were only buying defense stocks, which tripled when that happened, and on and on and on. It was a 20-minute skit about how they were screwing over all their clients, and not being a custodian or not being a fiduciary, to the extent that they were literally selling the exact same things that they were telling their clients to buy. And I saw that, and I was oh my gosh, because what's really interesting is when you have these giant financial bubbles, there's just such an insanely, it's the best time ever to profit, right? There was so much money made in 1928, 1929, 1930, 1931, during the crash, before the crash, after the crash. There's just so exponentially much more money. My point is that crises create volatility, and when you know how to trade stocks, volatility creates a lot of money really quickly. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, because this has literally been one of the best weeks of my life, probably the best week of my life, and I want to share it with you because it's been awesome.
So the big question is this: how do investors like us, who don't have a PhD in finance or millions to start investing, how do we grow our bank accounts to build real savings in retirements and yet still have the time to do what we really love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer.
Alrighty, hey guys, alright, I am excited, and I'm excited for a couple reasons. I remember sort of back cryptocurrencies were exploding and everyone's making tons of money in crypto. There were the really great weeks, last month was a really great month, and then there were the time periods after, when crypto started crashing, right, and everything started going down and down and down and down. And for me, I wasn't that genius who timed the market like a god, because in crypto you don't have stuff like unemployment to look at, you don't have stuff like inverted yield curves to look at. It's basically it's kind of it's like trading an index, but the index itself performs like an individual stock. Everything's highly correlated to Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin doesn't it's difficult. It's like trying to trade gold, right? It's a little bit more difficult than markets. And so I remember because Bitcoin was where I made my first $100,000 and then lost my first $100,000. And I remember when that happened, there was never really anything that happened. February, March, whatever rolled around after, 2 or 3, I guess 3 years ago now, about 3.5 years ago. And it just went down, and it just tanked, and it just, did really badly. And it kind of sucked. And there was never really any of the volatility stuff that we're seeing happening right now, which is what makes right now such an absolutely phenomenal opportunity, and why I am always going to come back to equities, because I freaking love them, and they're just a little bit more predictable. Is that oh my god. So last month the market dropped 30%, and I shorted everything. All I owned was puts. And then this month, the market's gone up 20%, and it's been insane. There are stocks that are literally at 80% of what they were at before the market started crashing, or 90%. It's insane. And so a couple things happened. The first thing that's happened is all the puts I sold and made a bunch of money on, that's awesome. That's money in the bank. That's done. Okay, but all the puts I was holding were doing really poorly for the first little bit of April here. And it was pretty harsh, I'm not going to lie. And the market has been just so crazy, because it's just been going up and up and up and up, and everyone's oh, the recession's canceled, oh, the money printer's gonna save us all, the Fed's gonna come in and they're gonna give everyone free money. And, obviously that is not how you stop, an international recession caused by a global pandemic. But it's still kind of funny to see what these guys say, what the bankers say, because at the end of the day, if the bankers don't have people to sell their stocks to, then they're screwed just as much as everybody else is. And if the banks are all trying to dump their shares, then they're going to have to find some way to make people think it's time to buy by saying like, oh, you missed the bottom, you missed the bottom, you missed the bottom, until, of course, the market keeps on going. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's not a big deal. But it's like, it's like you're in 1929 and everyone, I remember I was watching, just because of, the times right now, one of my students sent me over a documentary from when the Great Depression, documentary from the Great Depression. And for those of you who don't know, Black Monday, which I think I talked about like a month ago, when like there was like the quote unquote equivalent of a Black Monday, when there was like 2 circuit breakers last month. Black Monday like originally came from this idea in the stock market in 1930.
Want more stock market secrets? If so, go get your free copy of my best-selling book, 9 to Noon. You can get your free copy plus $11,176 of unannounced bonuses it took me years to uncover, completely for free at 9tonoonsecrets.com. Inside 9 to Noon, you'll find the top 38 secrets you can use to double your portfolio every 2 years and make upwards of 10% per trade daily.